Yeah, so we'll start with the first part. So just the general story of starting the company. So I had the idea on October 31st, 2017. And really the idea was why it was really actually just like one of those moments where you're like, wait a minute, why doesn't this work this way? And the thought was, why don't all my devices charge because they're sitting on the table? My laptop and tablet and phone and everything, it should just charge while it's there. And so that was the original vision for Surface Power. We now call the technology Free Power, but that was the original vision. And so I immediately dove in. And a few weeks later, I was kind of looking for a technical co-founder, someone who could start to develop the first proof of concept for the technology. And I remember that there was this guy at the ASU Polytechnic campus that was quite outspoken for creating these large Tesla coils. And for those who don't know, a Tesla coil it was invented by Nikola Tesla in the late 1800s, but it's basically a tower that spits out electricity. And so he built these really large ones. He won the Guinness Book of World Record for most powerful Tesla coil ever built, and then played music with it. So when the electricity goes through the air, it actually creates a frequency that turns into sound, and you could change the frequency to change the sound. And so on YouTube, he had like Sweet Home Alabama and different songs, and they were getting millions of views. And that was like in the driveway of his house on the Polytechnic campus at ASU. So when I had the idea, I was reaching out to my network to see who might be a good fit for a hardware technology product, which is hard to come by. A lot of people are interested in software these days. And through a friend of mine from ASU Polytechnic, he connected me with Eric. I spoke with Eric, he dove in, and that was really the start of the company.
Yeah, we can't wait until the point when he's sitting here and says, "Yeah, I met Eric at the Techiepalooza."
Yeah, could happen today.
Yeah, I mean, if you think of it that way, that's kind of the goal of what we're doing here today. So, what about just the initial baby steps from ideation to initial funding of the company? I mean, like, let's go chronologically.
Yeah, so it was all very incremental. So the very first money I raised, I think, was $27,000. And it was as sort of just a networked relationship that I had that believed in my ability as an entrepreneur. He didn't know anything about wireless power. I didn't know anything about wireless power, but he just believed that there could be something there. And so we took that first $27,000 and we built a very rough prototype that if you just looked at it quickly, it seemed like it was the real thing. And so, but it was proof that it could be done. That was the key there. It wasn't like we were selling smoke and mirrors. It was proof that it could be done. And we took that to a company that was one of a leading direct-to-consumer consumer electronic accessory company. So you could think like a Belkin or a Logitech, but a company called Nomad. And the founders of that company knew about AirPower. It was announced by Apple in 2017. It was supposed to come out. It hadn't come out yet. And they wanted to compete with Apple. So we said, if you invest in us, then we'll finish this technology. We'll get it to market for you. And so they invested and licensed the technology. So our first funding that had any real consequence to hire employees and start to build the technology was through a strategic. And then from there, we got on Shark Tank, and we went on Shark Tank. And we did a 3-shark deal. So we're one of the few companies in Shark Tank history to do a deal with 3 or more sharks. Kevin was getting a little handsy with me, apparently. So we went on Shark Tank. We went and then raised angel funding. And then we went and did a larger round, which was mostly local and mostly high net worth and like business leaders throughout the local area, actually. And so we raised about $12 million in that round.
Yeah, you can't just say, we did Shark Tank and then move on. You gotta tell us some Shark Tank lore. Like, what the heck? What's going on behind the scenes at Shark Tank?
Yeah, so people don't realize, but Shark Tank is 100% real. In fact, if the sharks learn anything about you before you walk out to pitch to them, you get canceled. And so if you try to reach out through your network or somebody reaches out on your behalf, you'll get thrown off the show. So you get there and you're there for a few days. You're meeting with the producers and they're kind of vetting you and making sure that you're ready to film. And then right before you go on, they kind of get everyone, they film about 12 companies a day. So they get everyone together and the producers come over and they give you this like really big hype up speech that this is like the Super Bowl for entrepreneurs, and you got to give it your all, and I leave everything on the field. And so they really try and hype you up because you're going to be on national television, and you don't want that to not go well for you. And so I was walking out to go on Shark Tank, on the Shark Tank set. It's just a big sound stage in one of the movie production lots in LA. I think it's Sony Picture Studios. So it's where they film like Spider-Man. And I think the unit where Shark Tank is where they do, where they did, what was that first movie? That was the first movie that was black and white and then went to color, like the Yellow Brick Road.
That sounds right, yeah.
What's that? Someone? Wizard of Oz, there you go. So they filmed Wizard of Oz in that same soundstage. But so they just have this little setup, and they bring one company in at a time, and they mic you up while the other company's finishing. And so I'm getting mic'd up, and Kevin is just tearing the company apart. That was on before me. And then the other sharks are tearing them apart, and I'm sitting there like, all right, this is not a good idea. What am I doing here? And so they get torn apart because you can hear everything. So they just have like these kind of mock structures. And so I was like, this is the worst idea I've ever had in my life. What am I doing? But we walked out, and the first 90 seconds is scripted. So you have like a little 90-second pitch that you do with the producers. And it's just so they can make sure that they get some key content, like what's your name, where are you from, what's your product, why is it special? And then from there, the sharks just fire off questions nonstop. And most people are out there for anywhere between an hour and a half. And they cut it down to about 8 minutes. So we went out there, did the thing. They edited us to look great. It wasn't that smooth. And then we got the 3-shark deal.
That's a round of applause for that. I mean, that's rare, right? Not many people get all 3 sharks to buy in.
And what do you think that did for you? Did it actually help jumpstart it?
Yeah, so the sharks are incredibly well connected. They're all, they're all entrepreneurs themselves. So you get a lot of insights from their experiences. You get the benefit of the relationships. You get aired on national television. It happens to be the #1 viewed family show in America. So I think they get like 13 or 15 million views per episode. And then there's the years of reruns on Hulu and CNBC. Like I was walking into like a sports bar one time, and they were just doing a rerun, and I like saw my face on the yeah. So you see that. So it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting thing to be able to go on that show and get that promotion and interface and get the support from the sharks.
It's cool. So it looks like it's you and Eric were representing the company on stage. I'm assuming you did the pitch.
It was shared.
It's been a while since I watched the clip.
Yeah, no, it was shared. So I spoke to the business and the business details, and he spoke to the technical.
Yeah. Good. Yeah, Eric should be here to speak to all the techies in the room. But yeah, he's a great kid, and guys are kicking butt. So you guys are headquartered here in Phoenix.
Yeah, so we're located in Phoenix. We're right off of 44th Street. We just got that new office. We're about 30 employees now, roughly. Yeah, we started, again, October 31st, 2017. So we're about a little over 5 years in, 5.5 years.